Y'all, I keep trying to figure out why I have the Jurassic Park quote. You know the scene where like they're at the no, it's not the Velociraptor, the Tyrannosaurus Rex compound, and she's like, when the insurance guy gets out the car, and she's like, he left us. Like, I don't know why I can't get that. That's been replaying in my head, so I thought I would share it with you so it can replay in your head. Hey y'all, it's Ashley. Welcome back to the realm of comments, or welcome if you're new here, where we talk everything comics, graphic novels, and manga. And today I am here to talk a little bit about my October reading plan. So I kind of do this on my primary channel, and I thought that it would be fun to do a separate reading plan for this channel because I'm going to be covering all of the material here. It's not that I won't talk about it necessarily on my other channel, but when it comes down to reviews and really diving into the content, it's going to be here. So I thought that I would talk about my October reading plans here. And so I have a lot planned for October. It may be just a smidge too ambitious, but it is what it is, and we just gonna go with it. I mean, that's it. So I have a stack on the table here, which y'all can't see, but I can see, and I'm nervous. But I also have my handy dandy list here on my phone, which I'm usually not a list maker, but you know, with everything going on, this has been extremely useful. And so I'm going to dive right into the group of things that I'm going to be reading for, hopefully reading for the month of October. Oh, not Junji trying to fall off the shelf, boo. Stay up, Venus. Oh, well, screw you too then. Okay, so the first thing that I have here is Monster, which is going to be representative of all the Monster that I need to read because I'm behind already. We're doing a group read of Monster right now. Technically, I should be reading Volume 1 and Volume 2 before this week is over with. But the way my life is currently set up, it just may not be a thing that happens. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw the first 3 volumes of this onto my October reading plans because, listen, it is what it is at this point. I have actually already read this one. I read Monster a long time ago and definitely have not had the opportunity to continue on with the series. This is by Naoki Urasawa, who is a great mangaka. I also own a copy of his work, 20th Century Boys, and so I'm really looking forward to this one. This is about a doctor who makes a decision to save some twins, except one of the twins ends up being something that we never saw coming, and I'm just going to keep it at that. So thank you to Bree for continuing on with the series and being the motivation behind all of BookTube reading Monster right now. You heard it here. Everyone is reading Monster because of Brie. Okay, so the next set of books that I have here is a series that I've already talked about, I think even in my last video, because it was a series that I'm in the middle of, and that is Sweat and Soap. I have here volumes 5, volume 6, volume 7, volume 8, and volume 9. I want to go ahead and push through this series because it is complete. I only have 2 more volumes that I need to pick up to finish it. These read rather quick, and I just don't want to delay in reading the series anymore. I think one of my goals for October, I'm not finna hold all those up at the same time. I think one of my goals for October really honestly is to push forward and to continue to read a lot of the series that are on my shelf that A, I have not started, or B, I need to continue and read what's on my shelf. That way I can justify getting more volumes of manga. I really don't need to pick up anything else at the moment until I finish what I have or finish the majority of what's on my shelf. But is that a reality? Absolutely not. So I'm just going to continue to lie to myself. I don't want to say I'm lying to you because I want you to have faith in me, but watching Shay and Izzy is kind of like asking for trouble, and it's not like I'm not gonna watch them. So every time like I watch them, I get screwed over, and they're not screwing me over, I'm screwing myself over because and I listen, honestly too, I use my library as a resource, but there are a lot of series that we just can't buy right now, and so I have to come out of pocket. And so I'm just gonna come out of pocket, I guess. The next series is another series that I talked about in my last video, and that's If I Could Reach You. I want to also catch up on this one because this is complete at 6 or 7 volumes. So I have volume 3, I have volume 4. I can go ahead and read these, and then during this month, if I pick up 3 and 4, I can go ahead and get the rest of the series so I can continue on and be done. The next one that I have on my list is Defy Island. This channel is new, not trying to get flagged. But this has been such a wholesome series. It is only 2 volumes. I read volume 1. I read volume 1 digitally, went and bought a copy. That one is still wrapped. And I've been meaning to pick up volume 2 because it's a 2-volume series. It is so adorable. It is about these men who are on this island, and in order to rule the island, they have to participate in said title, and they have these elaborate coverings that cover their said title, and it's about them trying to make each other do certain things from said title. So if you can fill in the blanks there and connect the dots, that would be absolutely perfect, because I really just, like, I can't get flagged. Like, we literally just started this channel like 2 weeks ago, and so you get what I'm saying here. Great series. If you haven't picked it up, pick it up. The next one is one that I've been talking about for years. My God, I've been talking about this series for years, and I have been doing a slow reread so I can continue and get to later arcs in the series. And I'm sure you all know what this series is, and that is, it's Food Wars. Where's my other volume at? I'm so unorganized here. I'm organized but unorganized at the same time. So I have volume 16, volume 17, volume 18, and volume 19 of Food Wars. I have read all of these before. These are rereads for me, but I need to reread to continue moving through the series so I can get to 36 and freaking be done. I need to be done, okay? I gotta be done with this. I've been raving about this series for so long, and people probably look at me sideways like, this girl talk about this series all the time, and she didn't even finish it yet. I know. Because what if I get to volume 36 and I'm like, man, this is not as good as I thought it was? I mean, it's still going to be a love of my life because it got me into really trying manga out. I am always a little lighter on how many volumes of this I try to read in a month, because Food Wars is a very text heavy manga. They get into the nitty gritty specifics about food, like the science behind food, and so it just makes things a little bit more interesting. But for these 4 volumes, I have a special project in mind. Not going to tell you about it here, so this is just definitely on the list because it's on my list of videos to do for October. So I kind of like, I gotta get it together. I've got to get it together. It's like, what is that dance move called? Is it the vacuum cleaner? Let me stop. The next manga series is another one that I talked about. Basically, what ended up happening is I went and edited that video and watched it back and was like, ma'am, if you don't pick this stuff up in October, this is a shame. All these series that you're in the middle of, you need to just go ahead and pick them up and continue on with life, because this is ridiculous. So I have Beastars Volume 2, and this is one that I did include on that list that I talked about heavily. I really adored volume number 1. I am excited to dive back into this. I enjoyed volume 1 so much that I went ahead and picked up volume 1 and volume 2 so I can start my own collection of it, and here we are. No more just collecting and not reading the series. I just can't. I can't bear to do that anymore. Like, I can't do it. Okay, so now we're going to be switching a little bit into the comics and graphic novels. Some of these I have already read. The first one that I'm going to hold up is one that is extremely heavy. But I have read every single one of these, so this would be a reread for me. And that is the Lock and Key series. It's a 6-volume series by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. One of my favorite horror comic series of all time. It focuses on this family, the Locks, who their father passes away. They end up going to this house, and the youngest of the kids finds these keys, and these keys do very interesting, weird, and just strange things, doing strange things for some change. And this is nothing like the Netflix show. Do not use the Netflix show for your point of reference. This is not like Sandman, where they got it right. This, they got wrong. They made it so kiddie. This is dark. It is bloody. It is gory. It is graphic. There's some things in here that have content warnings, some language issues. It's not really friendly, if I can remember correctly. But we are supposed to be reading this for the comic book club. Yes, I know. Bree and I still have not done the live show for Watchmen or V for Vendetta. We're going to be talking about that so we can get that rescheduled scheduled, but I'm gonna go ahead and put Lock and Key on this list because I really want Brie to read this series, because as a horror and thriller and mystery person, I need her opinion on it. The next thing that I have here is Joker. This is the James Tynion run of Joker. This is volume 2 that I'm holding up because I just refuse to take volume 1 down off of my shelf and have everything just fall apart on me. So I said, I'm gonna hold up volume 2. I just got this from In Stock Trades, which is a comic book, graphic novel, and manga, some manga, not a whole lot of manga website that gives you stuff at an extremely reduced price. And so this was reduced from $24.99 to like, I think I paid like $12 for this, which is half off, 50% off for a hardcover from DC. That's a good deal, and so I went ahead and picked it up. But I have read a lot of volume 1 as single issues. I think there's like 1 issue in there that I haven't read, but I have not read any of these, none of these. And so this one includes issues 6 through 9, and then also, let's see, includes the Joker 2021 annual, which I'm ready for, and it's James Tynion, baby. The next thing that I have on this list is one that I'm using also as another video idea that I have coming out in October. Fingers crossed that I can make this happen, and that is continuing with the Scott Snyder run of Batman. This of course starts with the New 52, eventually shifts out of the New 52, and then we shift into the Tom King run, and then after Tom King's run we switch to James Tynion's run of Batman. And there's a purpose for all of this. I'm only holding up this single volume because all of my volumes are under a huge stack up there that I just don't have the muscle mass to pick up right now. Loved the first volume, A Court of Owls. So good. I'm gonna reread it. I know I'm holding it volume 2 and I say continue on, but I'm gonna reread it because I read the first volume digitally. I gotta read that baby like in my hands, and oh gosh, this is gonna be so good. I'm excited to pick this up. I'm interested to see where the story is going to go. Scott Snyder's run is 10 volumes long. I have all of the volumes, I think, except 1 or 2 I'm missing from his run, so I eventually will be able to pick those up as I make my way through the series. But this is on the agenda for October with purpose. So the next one that I have here is a graphic novel that started off as a webtoon, and that is Crumbs. I've heard great things about this. I think Shay really enjoyed this one, and I found it on sale and I decided to pick it up. It follows a character by the name of Ray who has magical abilities and loves romance, and she meets this cute barista, and even though she has magical abilities, she can't even tell where their relationship is going to go. I've flipped through the artwork in this one and it is very pretty. I think this is going to be a quick read, but also a fun read, and it's definitely a good fit for the spooky season. So the next one that I have here is a queer graphic novel, and that's Across the Field of Starlight by Blue Delaquanti. And this is about 2 characters who are from different planets and different solar systems, and they seem to keep running into each other, or they have some type of connection with each other, and one of the planets that they belong to invades the other, and so they find themselves at war. And it's interesting because this low-key reminds me of not Saga completely, but Saga in the sense that we have 2 people who are falling in love even though their 2 worlds are at war with each other. So it's kind of giving me those vibes. I have flipped through the artwork of this one too, just not trying to read the text or anything, and I'm really digging the artwork and the coloring of this one, and plus this has great queer rep from what I've heard, so I'm excited. The next one that I'm gonna pick up is one that I've been meaning to pick up for ages, because I bought this and I'm like, why haven't I made my way through this? I actually have read a good portion of this, but I never completed it, and here we are because I just need to. And that is House of X Empowers. It's House of X, but it includes House of X issues 1 through 6 and Powers of X 1 through 6. This is what you read before you run into Jonathan Hickman's run of X-Men, okay? X-Men is a part of Marvel, but also it's like its own little entity and world. Like when people think Marvel, they sometimes forget that X-Men is a part of Marvel, which I completely understand because their world within itself is so complicated without even thinking about the rest of Marvel universe. And so I wanted to pick this up because I wanted to continue and dive into X-Men through Jonathan Hickman. I know that there's other ways like to go back and read the other, like the older comics associated with X-Men, and I can because I do have the Marvel app to do that. But I've heard interesting things about Jonathan Hickman's run and all of the different things that tie together to make this run so interesting. But this is the starting point, and X-Men has a tendency to be confusing. And I think that when I read this, I have to be ultra focused, because when I was reading it the first time, I was like, I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. And X-Men has a way of making me feel stupid. So I'm gonna have to take my time with this and really appreciate it, and probably kind of look up characters and do some research as I'm reading it. But now is the time. Like, I can't hold on to this any longer and say I want to read Jonathan Hickman's run. I want to read Jonathan Hickman's run, and I just don't do it. Gotta do it. And the last one on my list, which is so interesting, we're just talking about this on Bree's channel, Bree Cherie Reads. Adore her. We'll link her in the description box below. We're doing sprints, and we were just talking about I was just talking about Chew. So I am in the process of trying to reread Chew. I have read all the way up to volume 7 or 8 of Chew, and I need to continue and finish because it's complete. It's finished. I need to go ahead and finish it out because Tony's sister gets her own spinoff, and so I have volume 1 somewhere around here because I've been reading that for weeks on end, and I literally have like 50 pages of it left. I need to go ahead and finish that tonight because this is a bit ridiculous at this point. Anyway, I need to go ahead and finish volume 1. I have volumes 2, 3, and 4 here. When I finish volumes 2, 3, and 4, I will buy 5, 6, and 7, and then 8, 9, 10, and then 11, and 12. We'll go from there. But this is another series that I do need to complete. All right, y'all. So if you can't tell, October really for me is about completing series because I just have so much. I'm not putting, my shelves are a mess, as you can see, but I'm not putting any of this stuff back on the shelf. I'm going to put it on this very bottom shelf so that it's a constant reminder of, Miss, you can't put any of that stuff back on your shelf in the proper way, and it's going to drive me wild because I'm a Virgo. Because perfection rules everything in my life. It is going to drive me wild not to have that stuff sitting on the shelf in the correct order. So with that being said, the displacement of my books will hopefully encourage me to continue these series so I can move on, continue collecting in the case of the manga or some of these graphic novel or comic series that I need to continue. That being said, you know, maybe that'll give me some motivation. This is not everything that I necessarily plan to touch in October, although I probably should stop there. I don't think I need to read anything else between books and what I have planned here. I have no capacity to read anything else. However, we love to challenge ourselves and go above and beyond everything. So with that being said, there may be some other things that I pick up in between reading some of these things, especially because some of these are quicker reads than others. So we'll see what happens when I do an October wrap up. I will be doing wrap ups on this channel because I'm not covering any of the content like this. I may mention what I'm reading in my weekly vlogs on my other channel, but I won't review them because I'll save the reviews for here. So yes, let me know in the comment box below if you plan on reading any comics, graphic novels, or manga throughout the month of October. I know I could pick some more spooky stuff, but I don't really own any spooky graphic novels, manga. Well, I do own some spooky manga. As in, there's a whole thing of Junji Ito. I have Judge over here, Black Butler, Death Note, Demon Slayer. So, I mean, if I want to go spooky, I have options, but it's a little dicey in the graphic novel and comic section. So I may, you know, may think about some choices there as well. Anyway, as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. Looking for ways to follow me on social media. Any other information that you need will be down in the description box below. And I'll be back with another video soon. Bye.